Good morning. I'm Hassan Giordano, and this is your DMV Daily Dose for Wednesday, November 27th, 2019.
It's currently partly cloudy and 44 degrees in Baltimore. Expect rain starting in the morning and clear skies in the evening with mixed conditions for the rest of the day. Today's high will be 57 degrees, and the low will be 44.
The Baltimore Brew is back at it again, reporting on a special garbage day at Cross Keys that cost the city $100,000. Since curbside garbage collection was cut to 1 day a week in Baltimore 10 years ago, a city garage truck has made its way to the village of Cross Keys for an extra weekly pickup. Now, in recent years, that special service was performed by the Department of Public Works Marine Unit trash operation based in Canton. In addition to picking up harbor debris and so-called gateway trash from roadside cans, a Marine unit truck traveled to 5100 Falls Road every Monday to collect garbage from townhouses, single-family houses, and mid-rise condos at the gated community. That special service cost the city of Baltimore about $10,000 a year, amounting to at least $100,000 over the 10-year period. Isabel Mercedes Cummins, chief of the Office of the Inspector General, said and laid out in a report that was released yesterday. Cummins said that her investigators could not determine who at DPW originally authorized the extra service, which has gone on for a decade without the authorization of the Board of Estimates and without informing the current director, Rudy Chow. Now, DPW immediately discontinued the extra day service when it was informed of the OIG's investigation, according to a DPW director, Matthew Garbart. But the recent report comes on the heels of another embarrassing oversight by DPW. Last month, it was revealed that the Ritz-Carlton residents had gone without a water bill from DPW for the last 12 years. The exclusive waterfront complex in South Baltimore owes approximately $2.3 million, DPW now says. The Baltimore Sun is reporting that the late Congressman Elijah Cummings' daughters are supporting one of the congressman's longtime staffers in the crowded race for his old seat, a race that also includes Cummings' widow and the girl's stepmother, Maya Rockymore Cummings. Now, the oldest daughter, Jennifer, wrote in a statement that she and her sister, Adia, are endorsing Harry Spikes to represent Maryland's 7th Congressional District because, quote, our father often said to himself that he was an ordinary man called to do an extraordinary mission, and Harry embodies that same spirit, they wrote in a statement. Now, the two women appeared alongside Spikes last week when he formally announced his candidacy at the Umar Boxing Gym on North Avenue in Baltimore. It was her father's wish, Jennifer Cummings said, to get as many freshman members of Congress assigned to his committee as possible so he can prepare the next generation to lead. Well, yesterday, another candidate for that seat, former Congressman Kwesi Mfume, who held the seat before leaving to head the NAACP, at which time Cummings succeeded him, was asked by WYPR's Tom Hall yesterday about the perception of Cummings' daughter supporting someone other than their stepmother, who said that her husband told her that he wanted her to succeed him. Mfume, a longtime friend of the late congressman, chose not to answer that question, but instead focused on his vision for the district moving forward. Now, a crowd of students booed First Lady Melania Trump as she was introduced Tuesday at a Baltimore Youth Summit on opioid awareness, where she told them that drugs will only slow you down. The loud boos drowned out the cheers and applause of some in the crowd at the University of Maryland Baltimore County Event Center, but Trump smiled through it all. Mrs. Trump was introduced by Jim Wahlberg, the brother of actor Mark Wahlberg, at the Be More Youth Summit on opioid awareness. The educational event was sponsored in part by the Mark Wahlberg Youth Foundation, which raises funds for youth programs. Maryland Matters is reporting that letting a balloon float away in Maryland could draw you a fine of up to $250 under a bill sponsored by Senator Clarence K. Lamb. Now, the legislation is similar to current Queen Anne's County law. Lamb, who represents Baltimore and Howard County, said that he hopes that the bill does two things: reduces the amount of waste that ends up in the environment and raises awareness of the need to properly dispose of balloons. He said that there will be a $250 civil fine for each act of intentionally releasing a balloon, but that no one will go to prison for it because it's not considered a criminal offense. Duh. Well, while the article spoke of the support for this legislation and the possible bipartisan effort that could get behind it, it never spoke to the jurisdictions and the concerns that legislators from locations like Baltimore City may have when releasing balloons has become a tradition when people lose loved ones, which is happening more than 300 times a year for the past 5 years at least here in the city of Baltimore. We'll see, and more information will come on this legislation. Now, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan said Tuesday that the state will move forward with a formal bidding process to redevelop the long-stalled State Center project in Baltimore, and it will begin relocating state workers to prepare for demolition. The governor made the announcement despite ongoing litigation over the governor's efforts to remove the developer long contracted by the state for the project. Hogan called himself frustrated by the lack of progress at the site. Quote, "Our repeated efforts to get this project moving for the citizens of Baltimore have been delayed over and over again by a group of developers and lawyers motivated by greed who have been seeking to extort state taxpayers," said Hogan at a morning news conference at the Midtown site where he was repeatedly cheered by state workers. The Attorney General's office has recently advised that we are now free to take on the added next steps, Hogan said. He also said that 3,300 state employees from 12 agencies working at the site will be relocated in phases, beginning with the Maryland Department of Labor. Hogan pledged that all workers will remain in Baltimore City and told state agencies to begin looking for other commercial office space. Quote, "The current plan is to move the offices to downtown," Hogan said. "It's not a plan to keep all the agencies here." And the DMV Daily News crew hopes that you and yours have a special Thanksgiving and happy holidays. And I'm your man, Mr. Politics, and this has been your Daily Dose for Wednesday, November 27th, 2019. We won't be here for tomorrow's Daily Dose, which is Thanksgiving, but we'll be back on Friday. For more information on the articles that I've mentioned, just go on over to our website at www.dmvdaily.news.